Nigeria, of course, is a great nation, and you have the right to know what is going on in your country, and it's part of what we bring to the table every day. It's time for Outnumber, that moment when we bring you to speed with the headlines for the day. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, I have Antonia Nwokolo this morning. Once again, good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
And of course, to my left, well, I wouldn't want to say there was somebody it's always at the left hand side, but I'm not going to mention the person's name. But to my left today on the program is Christopher Sunday. Good morning,
Was it a
Christopher.
person?
No, I didn't
was
say.
it a thief by the left hand side of Jesus Christ?
You can
that went
hear
to
him.
heaven?
You can hear Christopher. I said I was not going to say.
Well, I think it was
It's Christopher that is here.
that he will be the one to go to heaven. Good morning, viewers.
All right, good morning. It's good to have all of you add your voice to what is happening in Nigeria and, of course, the big story which is going to be coming later. Let's quickly take you through the headlines for the day. We want to start with the Daily Times newspaper. Above the header, I have this headline which says federal government kickstarts public hearing on national minimum wage. It's been, there for a while. So many things have been said. Some states implemented, some states have not been able to implement it. The enforcement is not thorough yet. But then federal government kickstarts public hearing on national minimum wage. Then below the head, I have this headline which says looting of food stuff. Atiku warns on imminent disaster as Obi slams a federal government over Ukraine's grain donation. Details of that you can actually get on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Then I have this one which says the federal government targets $8.79 trillion global business process outsourcing market. And right there, deep down, just down, you can see this one. Court adjourns Kanu's 1 billion naira suit until March 18. It's been a while, but then still been adjourned for reason best known. All right, to the court. Details of that can actually get on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Then finally from here, Tinubu returns from Qatar. We're waiting for the outcome. Papa, what do you bring? Well, we are trusting God for good news, and we are trusting God for a lot of improvement from the president as far as the hunger in the land is concerned. Let's quickly get to the next paper, as this is going to be the size of the headlines from the Daily Times newspaper.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, we have the big story here. 198,432 pending court cases leave many in jail. Businesses stranded. This is pathetic.
It's pathetic.
I think there is need for the government or the NJC, that is Nigeria Judicial Council, to wave into this, because so many persons are in jail. No trial. You can imagine somebody maybe who commits something that, okay, even though bad, but the person deserves to be free now to come back after they don't call it prison again, they call it
correctional
center. So if you are correcting people and then you are keeping them, and the state of our prisons across the nation is so pathetic.
You need to see how jammed
and some of them might even be wrongly accused.
Exactly.
Some are suspects.
Some are suspects. And then they will just hold you there thinking. Anyway, we hope that the federal government will wave into this to free some persons to come back to meet their family, to make a living.
And get back to their businesses.
Moving on. Stop proliferation of arms, light weapons. Tinubu asks AU and UN. Monetary tools can't solve food price crisis, Additional insists. Review Orosanyes report before implementation, civil servants tell FG. I think we discussed this last week. It needs to be reviewed. I don't know how the civil servants want the FG to review this particular report, but if you ask me, they should consider when this report came out and where we are now.
Where we are now,
Exactly.
because there are some things that
Have changed.
So many
Things
things
have
changed.
a
quickly.
lot have changed
Exactly.
So they
over
ought
time.
to.
So
But
they
again,
need to-
I want to add, just like we discussed last week, the problem, if the fear is about salary should not be the problem, because in fact, if it's going to be the problem, those who are receiving like 2 million, 3 million naira as salary, directors and all of them, they should also plan to crash the salary
instead of sacking them,
of sacking some
slash
persons,
it.
because sacking people is also another way of causing inviting more crimes into the
more
system.
burden. They become burdens
Yes.
because a lot of people in civil service,
Yes.
after civil service, nothing more for them.
Yeah.
They
Nothing.
retire and go back home.
And go back to
Exactly.
because
their
a
villages.
lot of them don't even have any other stream of income
Exactly,
from
apart from
their
the
jobs.
salary.
apart from the salary job.
Federal government to begin grains distribution across the country. Yes, the federal government to begin grains distribution insists warehouse looting criminal beyond hunger. Nothing is beyond hunger. They were hungry.
That's why we said
Yes.
yesterday that they shouldn't politicize everything.
Yes.
You know, sometimes
Now that the warehouses have been invaded, they want to start distribution of grains. So
what were they waiting for?
I remember
So
they-
so meaning the looting was actually the push they needed.
Exactly.
Was it the external motivation?
What a system we have in this country.
So
What
we
a
have
system.
to take
What a
laws into
system.
our hands to experience those things you're supposed to have as
I
the
don't
normal
know why
citizen
this
of Nigeria.
administration,
It's
no,
really sad.
governments, I don't know why they must wait to be pushed before they do things.
This is what I call a reactional government. You
wait for
wait
things
for
to
people
happen before you take action.
Take action.
They are not.
You need to be
they are not
proactive.
self-starters.
People
They are
must
not self-starters.
people must pay attention to the happenings. Remember yesterday we discussed that on one of our programs, that you must pay attention to the people around you. You are a director, you are a minister. You come to the office in a jeep, and then you also come down from. I mean, you are looking fresh, having everything by your side. I mean, within you, and then somebody in your office, the security man, the cleaner, the secretary, are begging to eat, begging to go to work, and then you are not sensitive to it.
No. One thing that I've discovered about Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians, they believe in bootlicking. They are happier, when they see people coming to beg them every day. And that's the reason they always give people bread.
A friend of mine-
instead of teaching
Teaching them
people how to
make
bake.
A friend of
bread,
mine
yeah.
told me.
You understand?
Yeah, he told me that he asked somebody. Okay, each time he asked his friend to take him out, the friend would gladly take him out, buy him Kwabi,
But
buy
he
him
will not give you
everything.
1 penny.
But if he asks him, I need money to start a business.
They don't.
Can you give me 100,000
They don't.
naira?
I
He
don't
will
have.
tell you, I have just transferred my last money to
They don't.
solve a problem. Anyway, the last one from the Guardian newspaper this morning, Amotekun arrest 3 jail bells, 64 other suspects in Ondo. I think this is one of the reasons why we should also give state police a chance. I think Amotekun and the likes of them in other parts of the country, though some are taking advantages of
You must
this.
have Judas.
Exactly.
Anyhow,
But I think it's a
you do it.
welcome development. That will be the size of the newspaper review from the Guardian this morning.
All right, on the Punch newspaper, the first headline will be taken: African Development Bank plans $2.7 billion budget. Agric loans for Nigeria. The details of that story is on page 35 of the Punch newspaper. The next headline: Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation, Obasanjo tells federal government. The details of that story is on page 34 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to the next headline: Organized private sector warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. Federal government condemns warehouse looting. Kanu store evacuates wares. States to get free grains. You can find the details of this story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, NIN, NCC defends blocking of phone lines. Lawyer slams 10 billion naira suit. And the details of this story is on page 35 of the Punch newspaper. And that will be the size of the headlines from the Punch newspaper.
All right, thank you very much, Antonia. Let's get to the last paper for the day, which is the Daily Trust newspaper. From the Daily Trust newspaper, directly below the header, I have this one which says, private sector weak as economy declines by $44 billion in 2023. This is coming from NESG. Then on a sad note, 17 killed in Zaria, Kano, Abuja Lokoja Road crashes. Details of that you can get on page 21 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Then the big story here says Cardoso warns Nigeria on debt risk. Two riders to that story. The first rider says federal government states owe 139 trillion naira. That's debt. Then the second rider says debt rose from 2.1 trillion to 87 trillion in 24 years. That is where we are. Then more headlines coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. IGP bars POS operators from police stations nationwide. I don't know. I wanted to say something. Should I say? Let me say it. The police having POS operators, okay, at the station, what does it imply? They will tell you bail is free. But then, at the end of the day, you see some things exchanging hands. Behind the camera, someone said, well, you're talking about the station. What about the roadblocks that we have on our highways? They also go ahead with POS. They have POS too. And I was like, wow, ooh, this is the nation that we so believe in. Well, the details of that you can find on page 31 of the paper, the Daily Trust newspaper. And finally, U.S. election, Supreme Court clears Trump for primaries. That's a good news. I think it's obvious that Donald Trump is being loved. Okay, it's been loved.
No, I think it goes beyond being loved.
They like him in the United States. Look
Donald
at if
Trump.
you follow everything.
Donald Trump is a realist. Donald Trump is someone that walk the talk.
You know, they see face.
Donald Trump is somebody that says things as they are. He is
and
not
does
perfect.
accordingly.
He's not perfect.
Yeah, he's human.
He's human.
He's
But let
human.
me tell you, Donald Trump is the only one that I have. Okay, maybe I didn't really pay attention to the administration of Barack Obama, but I can put it to you that if you want to compare Donald Trump's tenure and Biden's tenure, but Americans now will be praying for Donald Trump to come back to power.
They are.
And I'm also happy that the Supreme Court has already clearly...
Obama,
Yes.
Obama's tenure, Obama's regime,
Yes.
and that of Biden.
Yes.
You can't compare it with that of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one president that was loved by the whole world. Because he can say no to anything that he knows this is not good.
I listened to one of his interviews, I think 2 weeks ago, and he said in 24 hours after taking the oath of office that the war in Gaza and Ukraine and what's it called? Russia will end. That
it's possible.
That those in power now know why the war is still on. That in 24 hours he'll wave into it.
Even the one
he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Well, let's see how everything works out at the end of the day. Donald Trump, you have our prayers, okay, and our back.
And congratulations over that.
Congratulations, yeah. This is a good one. Congratulations. This is at least a good move in the right direction.
Yep.
Okay, this is going to be the size of the newspaper review for this morning. You can actually walk to the vendors and pick any of the papers that catches your fancy. Let's go on break. After this break, we'll be back for the big story.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. It's still outnumbered, and now the big story with Ramsey, Antonia, and of course Christopher. From the Daily Times newspaper, we have this big story that we want to talk about today, where it says Atiku warns on imminent disaster as Obi slams federal government over Ukraine's grains donation. Ukraine donating grain to Nigeria. In some of the papers, we heard that very soon there is going to be distribution of grain to states. And now we are being made to understand that this grain is being donated by Ukraine, of all places. Now, Atiku is warning, that there might be disaster. Obi is slamming the federal government, saying Nigeria is a rich nation. The land is evergreen. Nigeria is known for agriculture. But look at where we are today. Sometimes when these people are talking, we shouldn't look at it as if maybe because they are oppositions. Now, should we politicize everything? Why not go back to the drawing board? Get back to the table, get into the inner room, sit down with one or two persons, and look at the advantage and the disadvantage of this donation coming from Ukraine. This donation, is it free or something will follow thereafter? Because Nigerians will not be happy if they begin to hear something different later. Mr. Obi said it is disheartening that Nigeria, which is one of the nations that is economically confident, blessed with vast arable land and abundant natural resources, now relies on war-torn Ukraine for food assistance. There have been war in Ukraine.
I want you to underline that.
War-torn Ukraine, donating grain
to
Nigeria,
a peaceful country,
country where there is no war.
We will not use the adjective peaceful because we're experiencing some. We
what
will
we
not
have
use the
here
adjective peaceful, but we don't have war.
No, the disaster we have here is
it's
political
different.
disaster.
Political disaster, but we don't have war. So Nigeria is not
our own
relating-
disaster, our own earthquake, tsunami is politicians.
Yeah, bad leadership.
Bad leadership.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we have. Then a war-torn country
Ukraine.
like Ukraine donating grain to Nigeria. Hey, come on. Let's be
That's
wise.
the height of it.
Let's be wise. We have to be wise. As it is right now, Antonia, what do you think of this? Nigerians are hungry, yeah? They need food. But then, sometimes there is some kind of food that they will give you no matter how
You say
hungry
no,
you are.
you would reject
Kai, you prefer to keep swallowing
your saliva till you are satisfied.
Grain coming from Ukraine. Are you suspecting anything, or you're comfortable with this?
I'm not quite comfortable with that because before Ukraine, that different nations of the world have been sending humanitarian aids to, would have enough grains. The war is still on. Would have enough grains to support Nigeria. I'm just imagining. I'm still wondering what agreements the Nigerian government must have signed with Ukraine. What pacts? What have they concluded for Ukraine to look at all other countries? There's still war in Hamas. Israel and Hamas, they're still fighting.
Yes.
They did not send humanitarian aid to them, but Nigeria. So there's something fishy going on. Something fishy that we here in the studio, I don't think we can really wrap our hands around it right now.
Well, someone said something, but it's not something that I can say on air right now.
Okay.
But then, I think this administration should be careful because Nigerians are very intelligent people. And politics, it's not something that should be self-centered because we are all human. One day, we'll leave all these things. Okay, so we should be careful because it's not good, all right, for us to do things that will jeopardize the future of this nation because our children unborn will ask questions.
Yeah, because actions have consequences.
There are
and
every
most
action
of most of most
have
of the
consequences.
things most of the things Nigerians are suffering now are things that our forefathers have done.
Yes.
Agreements that they've made, policies that they've implemented or failed to implement, and we are suffering the aftermath. So how much more if we continue making bad decisions, if the leaders continue to make bad decisions and citizens also continue taking laws into their hands, you see that our children, there'll always be this ripple effect. The children will continually complain about the state of Nigeria.
All right, Christopher. Atiku is warning.
Are you not warning?
I am warning.
Is it only Atiku that should be
Atiku
warning?
Nigerians
Is it only Obi that should be warning?
But then,
well, to the best of my knowledge, Jonathan's administration, when Jonathan was the president of this country, Nigeria was adjudged the food hub or the best in agricultural products in Nigeria. The present, what's his name? Adesina, that is the African Development Bank chairman, was the Minister of Agriculture then. Buhari's first 10 or 2, I think, when the likes of Oweleke was the Minister of Agriculture. I think that time they tried, whether it was media hyping or not, they were importing yam from Nigeria to other parts of the world.
Okay, you mean exporting?
Exporting yam to other parts of the world. Now, I don't know where all this is coming from. I don't know why we cannot sustain achievements like this. I don't know why government will come and abandon good projects.
No continuity.
Even though it's another political party, I expected that. You see, when you politicize everything about your government,
that's where the
That's where the
problem is.
Kudos to the former president of this country, Olusegun Obasanjo. He prefers to even work with opposition. Let me tell you how he made late Stephen Achema the essay on agriculture. When he inquired to know why he didn't win election in Kogi State, they told him it's one Igala man from Kogi that gave the order that all Igala should vote for the opposition party. That is Prince Abubakar out of blessed memory too. And he said, if there is somebody in the whole of Kogi State that can push people to vote against him, it means the person is good. It means the person is a leader. And then he called him and gave him essay on agriculture.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But now you see that once, if you are good and then you are appointed, people from your own state that feel, okay, he worked against us, he shouldn't be given appointment, will start writing petition so that you'll be removed without minding the fact that this person has something to offer. Now, the present Minister of Agriculture, what are his antecedents in agricultural activities? He may also have farms, because one of the things they look now, okay, I've seen been a farmer before, but it's beyond having farms.
It's beyond having farms.
You understand? Now, go to the north. The land in the what's it called, quality land, farming land that we have in this country is enough for this government to channel our energy. That the money, billions of dollars they are channeling into refinery. I am not saying that fixing the refineries is not good, but my point here is that they should also inject billions of naira into agricultural activities, but again with serious follow-up
and supervision.
Because some people, we are even talking about the government, some people will collect loan agricultural loan that they
And
want to
will
do
not
and do
want
something.
back.
And some of them, before you know, they will channel it into another thing. Some of them will buy cars. Some of
think,
them will start getting married.
I think what should be done is
Now,
before you
sorry,
give any loan,
so I don't forget. So let me land on my thought. I am of the opinion that federal government should also employ youths back into farming activities.
I think that will be
Youth,
fine.
like instead of you to graduate and then you will be looking for a white collar job, then we should also try to make agricultural activities or a job white collar. What is wrong if you are a supervisor of farming activities in one farm somewhere in Ogun State? What is wrong for you to even be, if you cannot afford machine that can plant grains, you can also employ NYSC members. Should also go and build houses for them. Let them be comfortable.
No,
Let them have fun.
NYSC has this Said program where they bring
People to come and teach.
and they give
people different
certificates,
skills.
even do post-camp training and all of
Do
that. Agriculture is part of it. Said is still on.
How effective is it?
It's very effective because
Said is effective. I think
they give certificates while in camp,
yes.
and even after camp, these trainers, so to say, these trainers offer post-camp services at a subsidized rate. So NYSC, they've had this liaison with NYSC, and it's at a subsidized rate. So
all right.
I think that's been captured.
All right.
by
Again,
NYSC.
I want to beg the federal government that don't push this aside because it is coming from Atiku and Obi. Pay attention to the points raised here, because if you are bringing what's it called, grains from Ukraine, do you know the chemicals that is being used to preserve those grains before bringing them?
I don't know who has entered this agreement.
Yes, do you know?
I don't know who have signed this agreement.
Now we'll go back that. Now we'll go back.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't know who
when
told.
me.
I don't know who told Ukraine that we need grain.
And when we have warehouses, that they refuse
locked up with grains.
The report we took yesterday about the looting of grain around day or where, from the person we interviewed, he clearly stated that, in fact, he opened
showed the bag.
Yeah, he opened the bag and then brought it. He said it's even getting bad already.
Because it has been there for only God knows when.
He brought it and said, look at it.
It's even getting so if they leave it there, it will get spoiled. But why would people be more interested for things to get spoiled? Okay,
than for people to enjoy it.
They want to leave it till the next election year,
so they will use it for
campaign,
and then keep the monies to themselves.
Nemesis is something that you can't dodge, no matter what. It may not be immediate, just like curses. Sometimes people just feel, well, we are used to it. Is it not curse? Any curse that comes on you, it will go a long way, affecting you and even your generation. So I don't think we should do anything in this country as leaders to bring upon ourselves curses. I'm talking about people who go to hide food when others are hungry. People who drive Porsche cars, and don't even care. Like Christopher says something very vital. There was no time. I would have even talked about that. People who are in offices, they are doing very well. They are bosses, and their staff, or maybe people working under them, are not doing well, and they are comfortable with it. It's not good. Your cook is not doing well. You are doing very fine. That person is still cooking for you. Is that not risky?
One day, bush meat will catch the hunter.
Well, this is going to be the size of Outnumbered today, and the big story. It's so big. If you want to talk about this, if we really want to talk about it, the whole day won't be enough for us to finish talking about it. But then, this is going to be the size for now. You can actually subscribe to the YouTube channel, Oweleketv, and of course, also turn on the notification so that you will be the first to get every details coming from this channel. And don't forget that we are on anytime, any day. You get there, you will see very interesting content that will satisfy you. Thank you for being part of today's program. Thank you, Antonia, for adding your voice to the conversation. And thank you, Christopher. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Have a beautiful day.